For the solar eclipse today, I wanted to view it somewhere special. Somewhere devoid of pomp and circumstances of local city markets or friendly parties. I wanted to observe in nature close to water. So I start driving to the closest focal point in the path of totality on my map, toward Russellville, but just stopped short of Plainview once I saw a sign for a recreation spot my dad used to take me to when I was little, Lake Sylvia, a place I haven't been in probably 30 years. I instinctively drive past the first exit where the welcome gate is and go around on the other side, hoping to see a landmark from my memory. Once I pull in to the opposite side of the lake, I was greeted by a relic of my past, a monolith, a giant concrete ramp built out into the lake about half a story above the water for kids to jump off of into the lake. A platform that, as kids, we would be either too scared to bound off of or hang out at the top and watch for little green brim peeking around the dark columns jutting out of the water, looking for bugs or things to eat. As I walk through the campsite, I'm awash with nostalgia, watching old men with their telescopes and young kids pull seaweed gunk from the bottom of the lake and squeal. I feel a certain peacefulness that I was hoping for. My anxiety resting firmly behind the fog of my SSRI meds, looking out behind a shadow in my brain, wondering where the bathroom is in case I need to go, or if it's going to be too hot and I'm not dressed for it. Weather report said it's going to be in the low 80s, but it's comfortably cool thanks to a breeze off the water. The lake is quieter than I expected, aside from hushed conversations about the best place to view, and the occasional high-pitched scream from some child who I know will no doubt have this event impressed in their memory forever. A dog barks further down the other side of the lake, but in a weird way I feel this kind of reverence here among the camp for the eclipse. Like everyone has a solemn purpose to observe and fellowship, like a barbecue before evening church service. I spin around and see tall trees all around me, and I'm overcome with emotion. I've been stuck inside my house for so many months. I came across this place to be alone, because I am alone. Seems that my daughter always ends up with my ex on these special occasions, because I'm too much of a people pleaser and don't want to make any trouble by asking for special days. I used to say Christmas doesn't matter, it's just a day. But this eclipse does matter. In spite of all the snarky comments on Facebook, this feels big and huge to me, and I want to meet it on my own terms. Not with a spouse or a girlfriend or a friend group. I want to confront my existential crisis of feeling destined for solitude with seeing a natural phenomenon in that headspace. Surrounded by people, but nobody to give me comfort. No one around who cares about me or me them. That would be a check mark in one of my codependency self-help journals I stopped keeping years ago. I put on my work-branded paper glasses and arch my head up, focusing between the treetops to see a yellow-orange circle with a hole bitten out of the corner like a cookie. I figure we have about 30 more minutes until the exciting things happen. Across the lake, someone is playing Total Eclipse of the Heart on their phone loudly, and I thought I would enjoy the cheekiness of it, but I hate it. I want to feel like I'm here 200 years ago. I want a horse to gallop past me. I want to chew sour gum and face the frontier of the prairie without digital streaming. The song ruins my religious experience for a moment, and I move to another part of the lake. Crowds are starting to gather and look up. Is it the rapture? God, I hope not. I'm curious what would happen to all these dogs on leashes. Will they go crazy in the darkness? Will a bald eagle swoop down on me in the witching hour and slice up my forearms, but everybody misses it because they are watching the moon block out the sun? And I have to explain why I'm bleeding. Fucking bald eagle, I swear, just went crazy and swooped down and tore me up bad. They all stare at me in disbelief. But now I have a good story to tell on Instagram. It's 1:29 and the shadows are starting to turn weird. I turn around and see the thumbnail print of the Eclipse as a woman explains how the birds will get quiet soon. "It'll be real freaky," she says. She traveled from Arizona. The man she was talking to says his daughter and her girlfriend are here. I wonder if he means that they are lesbians or just friends. I like when gay people visit our state and have a good time. I question if I should walk to the platform to view it. Seems like the thing that's been calling me. It would be appropriate to experience it there, and where I once got thrilled to hit the water in a cannonball or a jackknife and quickly swimming to the ladder for fear of water moccasins. The gaggle of 6 to 10-year-old boys all leave the platform for a moment and I get my solitude. I want to lie down on the diving board and totally mesh with the platform. I check the sky to see just a sliver, 1:40 p.m. Alone, I flattened myself to the hard stone and used my water bottle as a pillow and stared up at the sky, watching the moon do what no other planetary bodies can do from our vantage point. And just as I thought I was going to endure this miracle alone, a woman with short red hair and bright orange glasses walked beside me. I awkwardly sit up. "Hello, fellow Eclipse viewer," she says to me cheerfully. She was probably in her early 50s. Her partner, she refers to as Frank, stood behind her as she lays down a mere feet from me. "You gonna come down here?" "If I do, I'm afraid I'll never get up." Frank has a silver ponytail. He's a stout man but moves slowly. I asked them if they were from out of town. "I live in Houston, but my brother lives in Little Rock. He's right there." She pointed at a slight man with a gray modern haircut. He is spry and moving around in contrast to the tall man named Frank, standing solemnly against the guardrails. "That's cool," I said, trying to sound social. My heart was pounding. Lying flat on my back was causing some kind of reflux in my chest, and I was beginning to feel cortisol pump through my system. My instinct was to run to my car and fill the AC in solitude, but I kept thinking about 100 years. A century to have to experience this again. This would be worth whatever heart attack that may or may not happen. Hypochondria be damned. I earned my Eagle story. I'm staying right the fuck here next to Houston, I don't have a problem, and Frank. Her curious nature and joy put me at ease. She would ask her brother and her friends so many questions, and I just listened and smiled as the sun shrank. My chest cavity settled as the sky grew darker, and before I could take another photo, my phone died. Shit. So much for my documentary idea. You'll just have to experience this in the dark like I soon would. Fitting, I guess. I wanted to be away from technology. I no longer had my phone to hide behind. Just me and the heavens, raw dogging this experience like it was meant to be. Apocalypto style. My side was spasming, but I just tuned into what I could see in the sliver of my UV-protected plastic. The smallest fraction of a semicircle of orange, like a nose ring. Underneath my paper goggles, I could see the environment turn a bluish dust color like a Instagram filter that messes with the highlights and shadows. It was intoxicating. Science fiction. And with giddiness, I saw the last final shoestring in the sky get swallowed by the night. At 1:52, the whole place erupted in cheers and whistles and clapping, like our kids just graduated. We were all nervous and excited and grounded in what was above us. I took off my glasses because there wasn't much to see in the sky now that it had gone dark. I knew I had about 4 minutes and 10 seconds of total eclipse to take in. It was eerie. The whole lake vista was like sunset. Oddly, everything was dark blue, but a corner in the sky was bright with clouds. I'll have to look up later what that means on YouTube. It was trippy. Quiet, but not deadly quiet. I think everyone was beside themselves. I didn't see the corona like I'd seen thumbnails on the internet. I was terrified to hurt my eyesight, as I only have one good working eye as a result of a surgery I had when I was little, ironically involving a light that was set too bright on that side of my face. We all argued if it was safe to look up at the eclipse without glasses while we were in totality. I started tracking back through all the articles I've read and the Facebook status updates that all contradicted each other. One gentleman with glasses and a shirt that had the Eclipse logo spoke with eager authority that it was okay. My Houston friend was not taking any chances. She kept her glasses on, but he urged her. We decided to look out of the periphery vision and convinced ourselves with mob mentality that this was the safe way. After seeing the sight out of the corner of my eye, I was speechless. It looked like something out of Dune. A black sun with the ring of white fire around it. My God, I've never seen anything like it. I decided right then and there it was worth losing my eyes after seeing that, and the confident man kept urging us to look directly while it was total darkness. Staring right at the eclipse, it was like seeing an angel or something that shouldn't be seen, like we were witnessing something secret and profane. It was the most whitest white and the blackest black I ever seen, a magical contrast that only a magician could conjure, like looking into a portal. We all joked about the rapture, but I could have floated right then and there into the sky. "Take me, son, black hole sun," I joked, and prompted the confident man to start singing the chorus. Frank wondered aloud what would happen if the sky stayed this way. I think I could get rid of all my sunscreen, right? My circadian rhythms would be even more messed up, but in my heart I wanted it to stay like this forever. The strangeness, the breeze, the white ring of gas, the positive attention my embarrassing state of Arkansas was getting. I wanted it all to stay, but in a matter of moments it was gone. The sun started peeking out like a white-hot laser, brighter than anything, like a blast from a superhero, and we all put our glasses on to finish the eclipse, and the whole congregation broke out into cheers again, like at the end of a concert. I was getting choked up. Hearing this little crew around me giggle 7 feet above the cold black lake water was just as magical as what was happening 92 million miles above our heads. I wanted to tell them all thank you for that experience, but I couldn't speak. I just listened and put my glasses on and tightrope walked the concrete path back to the shore and walked smiling back to my car. After charging my phone, my first message was to Marcy's mom to tell her to call me. I wanted to know if she felt the same as me. Driving quietly down the road, I was buzzing. Like the light around the moon was in my fingers. What a high. I said something earlier about being alone, surrounded by people who didn't care about me, or I didn't care about them, but that's not true. I did care about them deeply. I shared something with them, and now we're all connected, and I care about them. I care so much. I get a call from my daughter, and her voice is quiet. "Did you get to experience that?" I ask her, knowing that she did. "Yeah." Well, what do you think?" "It was pretty cool," she says. She is still quiet, almost reserved. Was it her preteen coolness that kept her from screaming into the phone like I wanted to do? "It was one of the wildest things I've ever experienced in my life," I squealed to her without hyperbole. "Did you see the white stuff around the sun?" "Yeah, it was cool." I try to think in my head if she's playing a prank on me or just not wanting to show off in front of her friends, but I can hear the cat in the background, and I know now she is home. Well, that's just her energy, and I'm sure it was cool for her. After we hung up, I remember she had 2 back-to-back sleepovers, and she made her voice hoarse, yelling with her friends. I sighed in relief, believing that she was probably just as psyched as I was, but physically couldn't show it. The gods shut out the sun today, and they also shut up my daughter. The gods are cruel, but just. And if I'm alive in 100 years, I'm taking my 111-year-old daughter to the eclipse, no matter what. I call dibs this time. Put it on the schedule.